I thought it would be really important in session 8 to talk more about navigating conflict without destruction, right? So this could be with the other parent, and this could be with your child, your adult child, your teen. And one of the concepts I wanted to give you was this idea about the ceiling and the floor concept. So the floor is a promise that you make to yourself of the argument or the conflict and what you never go below. Like you never talk about the really provoking, sensitive things with your child that you know would hurt them. You never go below that into that kind of conversation because that's just spiteful and hurtful. And if you're needing or your ex-partner, if you're needing to do that, then you really have to look at what your resentments are and what you're holding on to, because it's a really dangerous way to fight. It's just going to add to a history of disconnection or estrangement in the future. So really zip it. If you are very triggered, remind yourself you don't talk about those sensitive issues. You actually take a break. And then the ceiling is kind of in line with this concept as well. Is like, how high do you let the tension get before you take a break? Know what it is. Are you feeling your heart pounding? Is there yelling? Do you feel like there's a threat of never seeing the other person again? Are they threatening that? Are you threatening that? Are you feeling that? So remember, ceiling and floor, have those markers for yourself ready. Take a break, get help, get support, calm down. It doesn't have to go this way. With conflict, conflict is a part of life. And conflict is actually doing conflict well is a skill. So it's really building your skill set here. And, you know, if you're like me, I raised kids. I know that they know exactly how to get to me. They know how to trigger me. They're smart. They can say the things that would be devastating. I make a decision about how I behave when they do that. And in a way, if you think about it, that's the parent's role is to hold space and not to buy into things that are going to create more damage. If your kid is actually this upset with you or you're this upset with them, it's important for you to hold the container super steady. That's the role of the parent. Think about those days when your kid might have been having a temper tantrum in public. You had decisions of what's going to make that temper tantrum worse and what's going to contain it better. And it's the safety. I always think about this thought that if your kids can't handle their feelings, right, and you can't handle their feelings, then that's overwhelming because you, as the parent, could be like this very much an anchor and a neutral words of wisdom, very calm, confident person that can hold space. And some of the mantras might be like, when we're in a better space, we can come back and talk about this. Maybe we can't talk about this issue when we're just on our own. Maybe there's a lot more that has gone on that's making you upset or making me upset. And I need to explore that before I continue having this conversation. So if you're completely lost for words, there's a concept called meta communication. And so go into meta communication. And what that means is you're not talking anymore about the topic. You're talking about what's actually happening. Um, and this might be, hey, my heart is racing. Hey, I'm just feeling so sad because we had such a lovely time together and I don't know what's happening, but I'm just feeling a little lost right now. So I want to just take a break and just breathe a little bit and try to figure out what's going on, calm down. Or, I think a lot has been building up between us, and that's what I'm feeling. And maybe there's a lot we have to talk about, not just this, it's just coming out like this. So talk about what you think is going on, not the topic. That is another way to diffuse a very intense situation. So other concepts I want you to think about is rupture and repair. It's normal, right? It actually helps build trust when there's a rupture and you can be stable and solid enough to repair it and model repair with your teen, your kid, your child, your adult child. If you can do that, your child is actually learning how to do that too. If you can take a situation that is really tense and pull it down and just be, that's interesting, huh? I never thought about it that way. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. I really want to make sure we get to the bottom of this, but let's break it down. If you're actually slowing down and pausing the conversation and creating more safety, that's your best bet, right? That is your best bet, is to model how to get through a challenge, because this is a part, actually all relationships are a part of being in a reparative process with somebody when things don't go well, whether you're in the car arguing about directions, whether you don't like what your kid is wearing and you just don't want to say anything, but you feel like it's inappropriate. So, how do you handle that? If you feel like they're actually really sped up and you're needing to just contain them for a while, it's a part of life. So you look at this part of life that can be very challenging as a part that actually deepens relationships, and keep showing up in big and small ways. Keep showing up. So whatever you might need to do repair, and then consistently having communication like "I love you," thinking about you when you're ready to talk, those kinds of things. And don't give up. Keep showing up. I think about this work in terms of when parents give up, kids don't have anywhere to push off of or push back from. So I see sometimes parents get so hurt and they just kind of go away. Well, then the kid, adult, tween, elementary school, they don't know what to do with that, right? So remember, sometimes you just continuing to show up is watching how your child's going to respond to you showing up and trying to be as centered as calm as you can when you do. So conflict repair, so important. A lot of conflict happens in life in general, and also when there's divorce situations and more complicated things to work out. So don't lose faith.